Well, welcome to Good Friday, the day we read the Passion Gospel. For us, this is the culmination, in a lot of ways, the big moment in Holy Week, and so we read a big chunk of the Gospel. In this case, we're reading Luke 22:24 to 23:53. And there's a spot, the beginning of what we have read for today, goes with yesterday, but I liked that encapsulating that dinner, the dinner with the what Judas's influence on that moment was, and it kept it as a sort of cohesive unit. But one of the things that we get in this sequence, and why this is valuable for the rest of the sequence, to separate it there, is that we're beginning with the dispute about greatness, and beginning with the disciples not fully grasping what was happening, arguing with each other about how awesome they are, not fully engaging with this moment in its with critical eyes or with care or reverence, or sort of in a sense displaying a complete ignorance of what Jesus has been teaching them the whole time. And this is valuable because it goes from that to this, the prediction of the denial. I want to read that section again. It says, Simon, Simon, listen. Satan has demanded to sift all of you like wheat. But I have prayed for you that your own faith may not fail, and you, when once you have turned back, strengthen your brothers. And he said to him, Lord, I'm ready to go to prison and to death. Right? There's this sense of Jesus naming what he's trying so hard, so greatly to do for them, and they're like, yeah, we're going with you all the way. And no, this is not it. You're missing the point. And what happens next sort of shows the missing of the point there. He's like, you got to prove that you got to pretend to be outlaws, but they already have the swords. Like the whole thing sort of proves to not just, it proves to Jesus, but also proves to the outsiders that these people aren't who they say they are. And they're all failing the test. They're all coming to this moment of trial. And in this, it's hard for us, when we focus so intently on Jesus, we may miss the part where we're all failing. All the people are failing the test that has come. There's a part I wanted to, another piece that really struck me this time, and this is from 23 verses 28 to 31. It reads, but Jesus turned to them. These are the women who are weeping and beating their breasts and wailing for him. And it says, but Jesus turned to them and said, daughters of Jerusalem, do not weep for me, but weep for yourselves and for your children. For the days are surely coming when they will say, blessed are the barren, and the wombs that never bore, and the breasts that never nursed. Then they will begin to say to the mountains, fall on us, and to the hills, cover us. For if they do this when the wood is green, what will happen when it is dry? This sort of prediction that's happening here, what Jesus is naming is the suffering to come, is so profound for them, and it'll come. We know historically it comes around 70, in 66 to 70, when Jerusalem is sacked and the temple is destroyed. And he's naming this this time to come that is so frightening that they would wish the mountains would fall on them. Right? That's how scary and awful that future is. And but that line for the they here is so striking. He's naming this like you're going to wish for all of this stuff. It says, for if they do this when the wood is green, right? If they're willing to burn the wood when it's green, meaning now, when it's good, it's not dried kindling, right? What will happen when it's dry? Then, when it'll be worse, and the whole thing will just go up in a blaze. And I can't help but think about just how much we've missed the mark so often in our world, and missing the mark when it comes to the ecological crisis and this sort of stuff, this sort of sense of if we're not willing, if we're having such a hard time working together, if we're having a hard time planning for the future, and if we're having such a hard time taking seriously the lives of the millions all over the planet that are suffering because of climate change, how bad is it going to be when all of this is 10 times worse? It's a message of warning, but for sure. But I think we need to see in it this sort of sense of opportunity. We can choose not to disappoint Jesus, right? We can choose to follow and to trust in him. Things aren't over for humanity. Things aren't over for all of God's creation. We can change these things. We still can. And that's such a big part for me of what is going on in this moment. And because we so focus on the death of Jesus, that I think we might miss what Jesus is trying to communicate with his last words to people. That it doesn't have to be this way. That we can change the course. It's all of that is present in that moment that he's, even from the cross, is trying to teach. And for us, I think one of the things that we have to hear is not just that it's not too late. We can continue to do that. We can follow Jesus now. We don't have to do that stuff. But another piece, right? Another piece that's happening is that he is speaking not just to his followers who are abandoning him. He's speaking to all of these people. He's speaking to these women. He's speaking to the centurion. He speaks to Joseph of Arimathea. That these are the people who are hearing him. And it really resonates with me this time of year when those of us who are around in the church, 365, are sitting here bemoaning, right? And, the state of the church or whatever, right? And yet here's all of these great moments in which Jesus reaches beyond the people who were with him 365. Look who's there. It's not the disciples. Who's there with him? It's all of these women. And it's Joseph of Arimathea in the end. They're who are with him. So, this is a really, really resonant and difficult story for us.